Welcome back on this wonderful and amazing day. Thanks for joining. So the waiter comes over to the table and asks Dad and Mom, what would you like for dinner? And they respond in great detail what they want to eat tonight. And then the waiter turns to the 4-year young daughter and says, what would you like? And the little girl responds, French fries and hot dogs. And the waiter writes down, and the mother right away interrupts and says, she'll have some chicken and mashed potatoes. And the waiter just nods his head to the mother. The usual time takes 10-15 minutes, give or take. And the waiter comes back with 3 plates in his hand. 3 plates in his hand. And lo and behold, there was actually the French fries and hot dog. As soon as this little girl saw the plate that she requested, she turned to her mother and father with a great joy and says, wow, he thinks I am real. What a story. Yes, he thinks I am real. What's wrong with parents making decisions for children when they're good decisions? I like to connect not to philosophy so much, but to reality. So if I have a philosophy of what is right or wrong, of course I will listen to it. But then they say that the proof is in the pudding. When I have individuals in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s having a real hard time with food and almost cannot control themselves, after listening to them, it usually leads so naturally to their childhood where they were told what to eat and how to eat and how much healthy food to eat, so on and so forth. It happens to be that in reality, children will mimic parents. If not right away, it will be eventually. So if parents eat healthy, not because they say it's important to eat healthy, but they actually eat healthy, and they're into their health foods, and they eat everything that's right, even at 100%, what will happen? The child eventually will follow suit. I'm a major believer that children should indulge in all the nonsense food because they stop craving it as they get older. And from my personal experience, knowing all this science and knowing all this data, in my house, I had a rule that children were allowed to go to the pantry, eat anything they wanted, and I made sure there should be lots of chips, cookies, and candies, you name it. There was just one rule when they came home from school at 4 o'clock, give or take. There was no junk food until after dinner, but they never had to ask. And because I started this as a very young age, since they were little toddlers, candy, chips, and cookies was not some excitement because they had it when they wanted and how much they wanted. And therefore, some of my kids at the age of 10, 11, they would actually stack up some more goodies when they went to school, and they would swap with other kids for their fruits and vegetables because they wanted more fruits and vegetables. So there was a healthy environment eating, yet there was an absolute freedom of junk food. And as my children grew up, one by one, overall, it's very healthy in a way that even I can learn from them. My darling grandfather, my maternal grandfather, was an individual never ever told me how to eat, what is good, what is not good. Because he was a lovable person, naturally I looked up to him. Naturally, he was my role model. And guess what? He ate healthy. In Brooklyn, he had his own garden. Most of his vegetables that he had in his salad on the table was from his backyard. And as I got older, slowly but surely, I began to follow his footsteps, and I made my decision because I've seen a man that lived almost to 100. He was just shy a few months before his 100th birthday. And it was very obvious that eating healthy can give you a beautiful life, and it helps and it contributes towards longevity. Now, when people make decisions for you, even at a young age, and they dictate how to eat and what to eat, what I have seen time and again, and there's so many studies from all those children that were dictated of how much they could consume from the junk food and how much they cannot, when they left their house or even before, when they go to children's parties, those are the only kids that can't stop eating the candy or the cookies or the junk food, because that's the way the amygdala works, and they eat 10 times the amount of others. And many that have come to me feel depressed and sad because they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they still cannot control themselves. And we need to do quite a bit of therapy, because this is very difficult how it affected the amygdala.